love whiskey so much, but I don't know anything about it, and up until this point I've been too embarrassed to ask. So I've come to the Flatiron Room here in Manhattan, and I'm going to talk to the owner, Tommy, and he is going to school me on the world of whiskey. Scotch.
Scotch.
So I have to tell you, when I first entered the world of whiskey, I entered through the pathway of Scotch.
Okay.
My sister bought me a bottle of Bethany.
Sure. Yeah.
And as a housewarming gift, and I loved it.
Good sister.
She's a great sister. When it comes to Scotch, what are the basics?
Scotch has to be made in Scotland. It's a geographic thing.
So it's like champagne. Champagne has to be made in Champagne.
Right,
okay,
right.
Gotcha.
Cognac region of France. So to be a Scotch, A, you have to be made in Scotland. B, you have to use 100% malted barley, water, and yeast. And that's
just 3 ingredients.
3 very simple ingredients. And through that, we have an enormous range of styles of Scotch whiskey. They use oak barrels. Sometimes they use ex-bourbon, sometimes they use virgin oak, sometimes they use ex-fortified wine casks.
They can actually use old wine barrels to make Scotch.
Yes,
that
absolutely.
must taste amazing.
It does.
Do you get extra wasted because there's already wine in there?
It's like a double buzz.
Yes, we love double buzz.
You've heard of double malt, it's double buzz. It's pretty remarkable when you can take these very simple ingredients and make this really wide range of whiskeys.
Scotch has 2 different styles that we're going to talk about as well.
Well, a lot of people ask, what's a blended whiskey versus what's a single malt whiskey?
Right.
Single malt means it's made from a single distillery. So to be a single malt, it's made at one distillery. When you look at a blend is actually not distilling it per se. They're taking a bunch of different whiskey from different distilleries and they're blending it together to make a whiskey. The popular example of that is say, Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker is probably the most popular blend. Dewar's is another one. Ballantine's is another one. We have Monkey Shoulder, which is one of my favorites.
And the Scotch that I had, the Bethany, not peaty at all. It wasn't smoky.
Right.
It was really smooth actually and really good.
Sure.
But there are some Scotches like Lafroig.
Yep.
Which is like drinking a campfire. So what makes it so smoky?
They use something called peat, and I'll spell it because some people think I say heat. P-E-A-T, peat.
Like as in you hear about peat moss.
Yeah, I actually have a block of it right here. So
this is peat.
It's compressed and semi-carbonized vegetation. So over thousands of years, the vegetation on this island called Isla is compressed, it decomposes, and you get this.
So this is basically hard, rotted plants and
yes,
leaves.
And vegetation. When you light peat on fire, may I?
Fire.
Light it on fire?
Fire.
When you light peat on fire, something interesting happens to it. It actually releases these phenolic compounds, these phenols, and
Look at that.
Go ahead, smell that. Not that you have to put your nose up
Yeah,
to
that's like a campfire.
It's just like a campfire.
Yeah.
It's like a campfire in a glass. So what happens is this stuff comes up through the malting floor. I don't want to geek out too much on it, but it attaches to the grain of barley, just like the smoke attaches to your hair or the fabric of your clothes when you're next to a campfire.
Yeah.
It sticks with it. The oils stick with it, and it stays through the entire maturation or the entire malting process. Even when it's distilled, it goes into the bottle. After you open it up, the first thing you're going to smell is that kind of campfire smell that you're smelling in the air right now.
So even if you don't love the flavor, you have to sort of have some respect.
I like lighting that on fire because it helps people get a better understanding of where the smell is coming from, because sometimes they nose it and they get notes of Band-Aids, medicinal gauze. I mean, really colorful flavors when you're talking about something that you're going to drink. But when I light the peat on fire, they put 2 and 2 together, and they again, it's not necessarily going to make them like it, but it certainly is. It can make them appreciate it a little bit more.
By the way, I love that you just carry around a blowtorch.
All the time. You never know.
Just in case.
Zombie apocalypse is coming.
It's coming. All right, now you know a little bit more about the world of Scotch, and if you want to know anything about Scotch and whiskey in general, come make sure that you visit the Flatiron Room here in Manhattan, owned by Tommy. Thank you, Tommy.
My pleasure, Bethany.